First Baptist Church of Jasper, Georgia. Good evening and welcome to Wednesday night Bible study, where we are going to go through another shocking saying of Jesus. Yes, shocking saying of Jesus. We're going to find this passage in Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28. All right. So maybe over this past week, you may have found another saying that caused you to scratch your head. Think, that was kind of shocking. So, let's just go ahead and get started and begin to read it and just see what's shocking about this. So here we go in verse 21. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David," and said, "My daughter is tormented by a demon." So Jesus is in this place outside of Jerusalem, and this Canaanite woman comes up and begins to interact with him. I'm sure that some of his followers were there with him. But the odd thing is that within Jewish culture, that men and women didn't interact with one another unless it was within their family. So a female and a male within a family would interact with one another, but a female would not talk to another male from another family, and that male wouldn't talk to that female. So this was just odd that for Jewish understanding, for the followers who were with Jesus, for this woman to come up to talk with the man. And she might have been pretty familiar with the customs of the Jews, but she didn't care. She didn't care because she was a mama who was concerned about her child, a little girl who was sick, who wasn't well. So here we go. Verse 23. But he did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away." And she kept shouting. So Jesus just kind of ignored her, maybe? I don't know. It's just so odd to think that he just didn't answer. And the disciples were just saying, we don't, for them, in their minds, they didn't associate with people like her. Someone who was a Gentile, someone who was a female also. And then Jesus answered. He answered, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." And he answered, he answered, saying, said, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." Okay, this is scandalous. He calls the lady a dog. Now, we've all used derogatory terms for someone. And we look back probably with regret, many of us. Maybe we said it in our head. Maybe we said it to a group of people about someone. Or maybe we even went to the length of making that derogatory term toward a person. And often we look back and went, we shouldn't have said that. That wasn't right. And Jesus calls this woman a dog. And he says, I'm not about coming to interact with folks and help folks like you. He said, I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he says, so I'm just going to read that again. It's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. So just imagine how the people around process this, how the Jewish men heard it. Maybe they were like, or maybe they were kind of like, oh my, he said that. Or maybe they were wondering still, why is this woman interacting with this man? And I wonder if there were any other females with Jesus who were following, because he always had female companions that were along with the other male companions. You wonder how they heard it. Were they bothered because she was a Gentile? Or maybe they felt for her because she was another female and they knew what it was like to be talked down to. I don't know. And you wonder how the other Gentiles process this, how they heard this, these males, male and both female. So let's go ahead and read verse 7. She comes back. This lady's feisty. She says, yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. So she comes right back on Jesus. Not only is she interacting, but she fires back on a man in public during a time where that didn't happen usually. But she was sticking up for herself. She was sticking up for her daughter and her daughter's well-being. And, what would you think if you heard this terminology, if you heard someone being called a dog around you, and not in a playful way? Because dogs in this time were not lovable pets that we have within us today. Dogs were seen in this culture as scavengers, as disease-ridden, as animals that just kind of floated around on their own like other wild animals. So people didn't really value them the same way that people might value them today. So this conversation happens with the woman and with Jesus. And some scholars believe that Jesus was testing his disciples to see how they would possibly respond to this, to see if they would see that even though she's a Gentile, that would the disciples be encouraged to push Jesus to say, let's go ahead and help her. That's what some scholars say. But this woman, this Canaanite woman, this Gentile, they makes this comment. She hears this comment that Jesus was only coming for the lost sheep of Israel. So this determined lady, does she push back on Jesus enough for him to rethink his purpose in his journey? To think that it's bigger than just the nation of Israel, that it's everyone? Is she the one who pushed back on him, or did this is where we're just trying to rethink things or trying to sort through them? Or in that moment did Jesus grow in his understanding, or maybe Jesus was hoping for an opportunity like this for a woman or a man not of Jewish descent to come to him, for him to be able to help them, so his male and female companions, his followers, could begin to see how Jesus' message was much more inclusive. And so he kind of set her up to push back, maybe to broaden their understanding. We don't know exactly why he began to say he only came for the lost, for the tribe of Israel, and then he goes to helping a woman who is not of the tribe. So it was her words, or we don't know. So, but then it goes on to say, Jesus then answered the woman after she said, even the dogs eat the crumbs. And she said, and then Jesus said, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wished." And her daughter was healed instantly. So how shocking it was that Jesus called this woman a dog, yet he turns around and says, "Great is her faith." Now, within the book of Matthew, there were only 2 non-Jewish people that was given this reference of great is their faith, and she was one of them, a Canaanite woman. And this was mind-blowing, I'm sure, for the followers of Jesus, both male and female, that he would consider someone to have great faith outside of Israel. So he was probably beginning to push his followers to begin to think bigger about this kingdom of God that Jesus was pushing, that he was bringing in, that he was ushering into the world. And think about what it would have been like for these male counterparts to hear, females weren't elevated and respected and valued as much in this society, this time. And he brings her to the forefront and says, "Great is her faith." So, there's some beautiful parts to this passage. It begins to, the kingdom of God begins to broaden beyond just the Jewish nation into the Gentile nation. But here it just was odd. It's shocking to think that here is this man who showed love and care and concern and dignity for all of humanity, all the people that he comes in contact with, but yet he calls her a dog. But then he goes on to heal her daughter. And so this woman was a strong lady to go toe to toe with Jesus, and to say, "Hey, look, my daughter's worth being respected and valued and loved." And Jesus was taken back by that and grew to appreciate that and responded by helping. So, as I said, it's shocking to think that he would call someone a dog. But yet it's still a beautiful story. So I don't really know, can't really give you many answers other than, wrestle with it and think about the passage of, well, why? Why would he do this? Why would he not even call her a dog and just heal her, and just, she sees a person that's hurting and just help. I don't know why that conversation happened in the way that it did. So wrestle with the text, read between the lines, and see what you come up with as we interpret these scriptures. So thanks for joining me tonight for a shocking saying of Jesus. So look forward to to another Wednesday night. So I will talk to you later. All right. Have a good night.